It is just before 7 o'clock on your Saturday morning. We're taking a look outside right now, and it is a cold and wet start to our day. Good morning. Welcome to Denver 7 News. I'm Jessica Crawford.
And I'm Katie LaSalle. Thank you so much for joining us on this Weather Action Day. It has been a soggy spring storm. It started yesterday and continuing this morning. And
all this snow has definitely put a strain on power lines here in the metro. Take a look at this map. Xcel Energy says there are more than 500 power outages this morning, and those are affecting more than 26,000 customers.
We have a crew right now where one neighborhood's power lines went down around 4 o'clock this morning.
Denver 7's Christian Lopez is at Iliff and Peoria and Aurora. And what are you seeing there?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, you can see right here behind me this downed line. We're also seeing some light snow coming down this morning. As you guys mentioned, these weather conditions are causing some power outages for people in this area. We know around 100 people nearby where we are impacted this morning. And as far as the commute, you can see the traffic. It's been flowing along nicely. There's not a lot of snow on the roads. They are pretty slick. For the most part, we're not seeing too many cars out here early this Saturday morning, but we are seeing a few people out here so far. As far as the snow coming down right now, it's coming down pretty lightly. I'm not from Colorado, so this is my first time actually seeing snow in May, but we are going to stay out here and continue monitoring these weather conditions for you guys and keep you updated throughout our newscast. Back to you guys in the studio.
Christian, thank you. Well, you were talking about some fallen tree limbs, and those can be contributing to those power outages as well. If you notice trees around your home looking a little droopy from the snow, use a broom to gently brush or shake that snow off. Do that in an upward motion to prevent damage. Plus, be careful where you stand so that you don't get covered in snow while you're doing this. If your branches are covered in ice, you'll have to wait for it to melt. If a branch or a tree falls, check with your city for its removal policy. In Denver, you can call 311, but the city will charge residents for removal. In many cities, property owners are responsible for the trees on their property and the adjacent right-of-way. Katie, when can we expect for things to turn back to more spring-like conditions?
We have to wait a couple of days. This is a slow-moving, powerful spring storm. Winter weather advisories, winter weather warnings remain in effect for a big portion of Colorado's high country this morning. And from Denver City Park, a nice layer of snow there on the grassy surfaces, mainly wet roads here across town. So not really dealing with any issues on our roadways in the metro, but you head further to the west. Rocky Mountain National Park, still seeing that snow falling. It's been heavy in the mountains at times late tonight and into this morning. You can see up near Rabbit Ears Pass, snow is covering the roadways, so definitely some treacherous conditions up over higher terrain. Our Sangre de Cristo mountain range down south covered in snow, and mostly cloudy skies will continue for this afternoon across much of the metro area. Light to moderate amounts of any more rain and snow falling. Right now we're hovering just above freezing out at DIA at 33 degrees. Wind sustained from the northeast at 8 miles per hour. You can see some of that heavier banding occurring over the eastern plains. Out near Burlington, some heavier rain, and then here over the metro area, there's that snow moving into the Montbello neighborhood, just south of Thornton into the mountains, and off and on snow showers will gradually taper off as we get into this afternoon and evening. Out to the east, some blizzard-like conditions toward the eastern plains out toward Kansas, and temperatures only around freezing. So hopefully you've protected sensitive plants, your gardens. We will continue to see some freezing conditions later on tonight into early tomorrow morning, but good news for our state, helping with drought conditions. Just be careful on the roadways, especially if you encounter slick spots out west.
Colorado has somewhat new traction laws. When the traction law is in effect, motorists need to have a four-wheel drive, an all-wheel drive vehicle, or snow tires. They may also have snow tires with the snow and mud designation. If CDOT or State Patrol announces the passenger vehicle chain law is in effect, well, that means every vehicle on the road must either have chains or another traction device like an auto suck. CDOT says it'll only put the passenger chain law into effect as a final measure before highways are closed.
Now let's take you out to the airport. At Denver International Airport, 45 flights have been delayed so far this morning, along with 45 canceled flights. So if you are heading to the airport this morning, be sure to check your flight status before you head on out. And if you happen to have tickets for the Luke Combs concert in Empower Field at Mile High tonight, we do have a weather warning and a parking warning, and Luke has a message for you. A fan tweeted the forecast of snow showers on Saturday to Luke, and take a look. He replied, "I got the coats all packed up. The show must go on." Well, the website for Empower Field says the concert is a rain or shine event. Air Tracker 7 flew over the stadium yesterday, and they said that stadium officials tell them that they have cover over the field, but it will likely be wet. So make sure you're bundled up and take a jacket. Also, take a look at the warning out on Empower Field. On their website about parking, they are warning people to give yourself plenty of time to park. Some people who went to Monster Jam missed some or all of the event because they got stuck in traffic jams around the stadium.
Some shows must go on, others have to be rescheduled. The Denver Library was supposed to dedicate a mural today at the Corky Gonzalez Branch Library, but because of the storm, they've had to postpone that. The mural is titled Mexican Heroes. It was created by local Chicana muralist Carlotta Espinoza. The mural was restored after being damaged by a fire, then donated to the library. It was installed at the library during the pandemic. We're going to keep you posted on the rescheduled dedication.
And stay with Denver 7 to stay one step ahead of the storm. We have you completely covered from the weather to road conditions. Just download our Denver 7 Plus app on your streaming device for a 24/7 weather stream and check the forecast whenever you need.
Now to some other news in the metro that we're watching for you this morning.
So there's a gun buyback event that's happening today at Platt Park in Denver. This is all part of a series of buyback events working to get guns out of people's homes. The video you're seeing now is from one of the events earlier this year at Empower Field. Well, the weapons will be destroyed following ATF guidelines, and anyone who brings their unwanted guns in will get a gift card. The guns will then be melted down and turned into garden tools. The anonymous event starts at 10 o'clock.
Today is Armed Forces Day, and in Westminster there's going to be a 21-gun salute, a keynote speaker, and a reading of new brick honorees. This is all taking place at the city's Armed Forces Tribute Garden. Things could get moved inside because of the weather, so check the event's Facebook page for updates before attending. It's scheduled to start at 10 a.m.
And the Salvation Army is hosting a donut bake-off with some of their junior chefs. The bake-off is in honor of the Salvation Army donut lassies who served in World War I. If you want to watch, you can head to the Salvation Army location in Denver off of High Street. Everything starts at 10 o'clock.
Rising COVID cases and positivity rates in Jefferson County have forced the county's health department to put masking requirements back in place. Masks are now required in places like homeless shelters, jails, substance abuse centers, and adult daycare centers. These are areas where people are considered most at risk. Jeffco officials say in the last 7 days, the case rate has risen to more than 200 cases per 100,000 people. Statewide, new COVID case reports topped more than 2,200 Friday. Earlier this week, the State Department of Health advised the public to wear masks, but health experts say more is needed to manage living with the virus.
Well, the CDC is taking note of the latest COVID surge nationwide, and they're strengthening recommendations for people to receive a second booster shot. Under the new guidelines, the CDC says people who are over the age of 12 and are immunocompromised and people over the age of 50 should get a second booster shot. The CDC says nationwide they are seeing the biggest increase in hospitalizations in the older population groups.
A concern this morning among parents. The CDC saying it's seeing an increase in hepatitis among kids nationwide. There have been 180 cases across the country over the past 7 months. That includes 13 right here in Colorado. Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver. The most common forms are type A, B, and C. Medical experts don't know what's causing this form of hepatitis in kids right now, so there's no vaccine for it.
Nobody knows, and one of the things that people have to be patient with is the medical and scientific communities are looking very closely to try to define why this is happening.
Some of the symptoms for hepatitis are upset stomach, vomiting, and a fever, but it's really the yellowing of a child's eyes or skin that is the real giveaway. If you suspect this, get your child some medical treatment right away.
Some local parents have reached out to Denver 7 concerned about a homeless encampment popping up near their children's elementary school.
Denver 7's Patrick Perez spoke to some of those parents at Polaris Elementary School in 5 Points.
And one father told him that people moved in across the street just in the past week, and the city is already taking action.
This is what Kieran Schweidel sees daily on his way to work near downtown Denver, tent after tent.
We're just starting to clean it up now.
It's no longer shocking to him, but seeing it across his son's school is.
Having to drop your kid off right across the street, you know, it's not comfortable.
Kieran says he first noticed the tents at the beginning of the week. We counted at least 3 of them stationed directly across an entrance to Polaris Elementary School, where his 7-year-old son attends the 2nd grade. In a video he took Thursday, there was even someone sleeping on the school lawn.
Why choose right here? And if you think you put it down, you look out, you're like, oh wait, there's a school. Maybe I should just pick my tent up and move 2 blocks.
Kieran expressed his concerns about the encampment's proximity to the school's administrators. They were already aware, he says, and had reached out to the city. That's when he learned the encampment had been given a 7-day notice.
Mental health and homelessness often go hand in hand. That's a chance that could be taken outside the city. I don't feel comfortable taking that chance right next to the school.
A community member who did not want to be identified was quick to point out not everyone feels the way Kieran does.
You're blowing this out of proportion. I'm a community member. I just brought some food, warm clothes, and hand warmers for them. Okay. This is absolutely, please know that this is not how the community feels.
In a statement to Denver 7, Denver Public Schools says, while we are optimistic that the people here will be good neighbors, school officials have shared concerns about trash, drug paraphernalia, and human waste on the playground and sidewalks students use to get to and from the school. We are working with the community to address these issues. And those issues are being addressed as soon as next week. A spokesperson with Denver's Department of Transportation says a large-scale cleanup is scheduled for Tuesday.
I mean, it's a school. Like, that's all I'm talking about.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Outages says they're not required to act quicker just because these tents are near a school, but the city does try to prioritize them. It's also important to point out the city says there are still hundreds of beds available in the shelter system for anyone choosing to camp near this school.
Once the snow clears and people get back outdoors, you're going to want to be extra careful for ticks. And if you do spot one, you might be able to help out with some research to protect your own health, and we'll tell you how.
And the Dumb Friends League got so much help from you, our generous viewers. Thank you. We're breaking down how much money was raised during this year's call center.